Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner for over 35 years. In this video, we're going to be talking about royals and scandals and what the UK and the monarchy will look like after King Charles is gone. And also, bonus, did he make any promises about William's conduct with his brother for after he dies? Be right back. Welcome back, you tarot maniacs. So this video is going to be a little bit longer than usual. I had a horrible night's sleep last night, and so I am recording this at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hustling to get it out for all of my British friends and fans out there. So we're going to look at 3 different sections: the broader impact of King Charles III's passing. I'm not wishing this upon him, but time and tide wait for no man. In the fullness of time, we are going to have a different monarch. The future of the UK and monarchy after his passing is going to be part 2. And then part 3 is a bonus, any secret arrangements or emotional requests that he has for his son, William, who will be the monarch, regarding Harry and Meghan. So bless you, Gregopedia. Gregopedia is here in the house. Let's get started. Before I bring up that card view, please hit the like button. And remember, I do have a group past life regression that's happening this weekend, and there's still room for you to explore one of your past experiences. Think about it as a fun respite from this lifetime, whether you're having a good time or a not so good time. You can go over and you can see what one of your other lifetimes is like, and maybe some things that you have brought over from that lifetime. I'm sorry, my hair just went a little bit in my eye too much. So let's bring up that card view and make it nice and big so you guys can see what's going on. I'm using the Renaissance Tarot today. I do like this deck very much. Let's start out with the impact of King Charles III's death on the United Kingdom and the monarchy. Now, those of you, I was an English major, which involves, and I was a history minor, involves studying the processes of government. You cannot study literature or history without looking at monarchies and structures of government and culture around the literature and what inspired it. My concentration was on pre- and post-revolutionary Russian writing, propaganda, and persuasion. So I do have a good understanding of how literature can affect the milieu of the culture. So we are going to look at what emotional energy is going to surround the monarchy at the time of King Charles' death. We all knew, and most of us loved, Queen Elizabeth II. She did see quite an amazing range of events during her reign. She was the unintended queen, due to the abdication of her uncle, the Duke of Windsor. We all know that story as well. So it was an unlikely upbringing. It wasn't until a little bit later in her life that her destiny was plotted out for her. We had her for 70 years, I think it was 70 plus years. And it was quite a shock, even though she was in an advanced age. King Charles has waited a long time to ascend. What will be the energy surrounding the monarchy at the time of his death? 8 of Wands, speed, communication. I think things will be a little bit different. The King of Wands. With the loss of Queen Elizabeth, there was this caesura in the monarchy. All of a sudden, we all had to adjust from having a dainty, lovely woman who was rock hard on the inside, super steely, super polite, super invested in her career with very few fluctuations of public opinion. King Charles, not so much. As Prince Charles, we all know he went through a terrible divorce with Diana, Princess of Wales. And it was quite public. We heard recordings. There was a lot of personal, private information that we all heard here as the public. So his ascension, it was like, oh, that guy, huh? And I know there was a lot of people that thought that he would abdicate in favor of William. Not so much. We did not expect to see that. Truly, we thought we would see, just a moment of that. And rest assured, William is going to be the Prince of Wales. So we were all pretty happy with that. Communication will go out, and the changing of the monarch will be much more defined and obvious at the loss of King Charles. Someone asked me in my chat on my live the other day, are we in an undefined regency? And I don't think that we're in a regency, but I do think that a lot of responsibility has been given over to William and Catherine to shoulder because of the age and the health conditions of both Charles and Camilla, the Queen and the King. I do think, I've said this for a long time, I do think that Camilla has some underlying health issues. I know she does have a back issue, but I think there's some other things that are going on with her that she does need to kind of take it easy. She's not a young chicken anymore. Not a shot, just a chronological fact. So I think we will see a much more defined and speedy ascension to the throne. It'll be much more obvious. We're not going to have to wait for the coronation. William is going to step forward as the king right away. We will see that right away. Here, the Five of Wands, there's going to be a lot of chaos and confusion around it. This tells me that the loss of King Charles is going to be somewhat rapid. I don't think it's going to be like a instantaneous thing, but I do think it's going to be a rapid demise. I think he is going to, we're going to get notice that he's not quite so well, and then all of a sudden it's going to be, okay, we've got, the king is dead. The Six of Swords, I think.
Quite dead.
No, not quite dead.
I think it might pull through.
Not dead yet. I feel happy. Obviously, Gregopedia and I are Monty Python fans. So I think that he is going to immediately move into that position. It almost feels like, what was little Nicky's brother's name when he jumped on the throne? The English guy.
Oh, I forget.
I can't remember what his name was, but in the movie Little Nicky, his brother jumps on the throne, and like he just kind of jumps into the. I'm not saying that it's going to be negative or nasty or ill-gotten, but I do think that he is going to jump into the throne fairly quickly, jump into action. I think all of his mourning and reservations about taking that lead are not going to be on display. Whereas King Charles, I think we did see a little bit of a pause. There was a little bit of a grace period where we said, okay, he's lost his mother. I think that William is far more prepared for this, and he does run the risk of looking a little bit cold in the way that he conducts himself. But I think there's a speech planned lauding his father for the time that he waited to ascend to the throne and the works that he has done leading up to taking the throne and into his reign. So I think that there's a prepared speech that they will add to tinker with as needed. So how is the public likely to respond? The UK public, how are they likely to respond? Is it going to be quite as tear-soaked as the loss of Queen Elizabeth II? Is it going to be as tense and undecided as the loss of Diana, the former Princess of Wales? Is there going to be jubilation because there is a great call for Catherine and William to ascend? They have a very, very positive Q rating, and I do think that people will be excited. So how will the public respond? How will the UK public respond? Queen of Wands. They're going to want to see that Queen of Wands stepping up. I think people are very, very excited to have and no offense to Camilla, a young and fresh queen that is robust, a warrior queen. Queen Elizabeth was 25, I think, when she ascended. So having that young queen, I think, will be very exciting. Now, we do have the devil card. The devil card is adhering and sticking with those things that maybe are not so good for us. So I think optics are something that we are going to see people really leaning into. Are they going to examine the platforms and preferences and perspectives of these two new royals, or I shouldn't say royals, reigning monarchs? Are they going to really dissect what these two people are about? I don't think so. I think they're going to be like, same old, same old. I do think that it does warm people up to the monarchy a little bit more. Those people, the Republicans over in the United Kingdom, I think they warm up to the monarchy and they go, okay, it's going to be great. We're going to have all this fun. And under here, I don't think that they realize quite yet. This is our subconscious, unconscious. I don't think they realize quite yet that the power platform of the royal family is waning. It waned when we lost Queen Elizabeth. It waned further with the ascension of King Charles. I think we are slowly but surely seeing that royal family really start to reduce in power. And I think the public unconsciously feels that. Chariot here, I do think progress, we're moving forward. That is part of the excitement with the devil there. Up top, what's the outward emotion here? Strength in reverse. A lot of impatience. They're going to want to get through the funeral. They're going to want to get to the pomp and circumstance. They're going to want to have royal balls. They're going to want to see that kind of stuff. They will be expecting, the UK public will be expecting events, flash bulbs, that kind of fun stuff, things going on in the castles. There's something that is coming through psychically about Buckingham Palace being lit up. Buckingham Palace is going to light up for those events. We're going to see more events there. I know that there is some construction going on there, and there is talk about opening it up just to the public and not using it as a royal residence anymore. Moving forward, it is a whole new giddy excitement. That Fool in Reverse is going to be a very giddy excitement about the royal family and the future of the monarchy. So a little bit much of the jubilance here. We're going to see people really moving with the standard chain of events. So a lot of excitement, a lot of fun, a lot of goofiness, really getting sweeter on the monarchy, which I think is probably a good thing, because there's at the end of Queen Elizabeth's reign, there was a lot of talk from Republicans. I think I'm using the correct term here, from the Republicans, like, do we need a monarchy? Do we actually need this? Is it something that's necessary? And I think with the loss of Queen Elizabeth and the state funeral, the royal funeral, and then the pared down coronation of King Charles. And I've said this time and time again, the reason why it was pared down is because they are saving the money for William and Catherine's ascension and their coronation. I think that is going to be a much splashier, bigger, and profound event. I think people will really be excited about that. I would love to go over and see that. So I will be working on that when the time comes. But I do think that people are going to get sweeter on the monarchy. Will his death trigger any unexpected events or upheavals? Will we see anything unexpected come up? King of Coins, the Sun. We're going to see the beggars coming out. You know who they are. I'm not going to say their name, but we're going to see the beggars coming out. They're going to say, where's my inheritance? I need my inheritance. Is there going to be an inheritance? That Page of Coins says maybe just a little bit. And I do think that somewhere along the line that Mother dear had insisted that Charles leave something to both of the boys. We're going to see that. I think there was a a specification from Diana in the divorce that Charles be sure to fairly distribute monies after he is gone, for both of the boys. She wanted to see them be personally, financially wealthy and not dependent on the crown. So I think probably a smart move on her part. What changes will occur in the monarchy, within the monarchy, immediately following King Charles' death? There is going to be correction. That Three of Swords in reverse, Justice card in reverse, and the Eight of Coins in reverse. There are going to be corrections. This, I think, even though it is likely not going to be seen as a super positive thing, I do think that we're going to see a divesting of certain individuals. Let's see who it is. The King of Swords, the King of Lies, and that happy family over there in California. I think he's going to say, if you all are so happy there, be gone. They're going to get a pittance from this leftover monies that have been promised to both of the boys via their mother posthumously. But I think we're going to see them divested of something. So we'll ask more about that later. How are the Commonwealth nations going to react? So will countries like Australia or Canada accelerate Republican efforts? We'll look at them both. In general, how is the Commonwealth going to react to the change of monarch? 10 of Coins, there are going to be questions, but the allies and associations with it will stick with it very strongly, tied to the monarchy. There are going to be some that are not happy about it, and we'll see a few of the countries say, we don't want to be part of the Commonwealth, but I think it's going to be very, very few. What will Australia do? How will Australia respond? Page of Cups, Four of Wands, Ace of Cups. They will be in mourning and looking forward to the next monarch. They will be looking forward to the next reign with the new monarch. I don't think that they're going to make any bold moves and try and leave the Commonwealth or disassociate from the crown. How about Canada? I think Canada will too stay in place and stay under the protection of the crown. This I do think is more so because of the assertions that their neighbor President Trump made. So I think that they will stick with the safety in numbers, not looking for any kind of evolution, transformation, or change to the way that they live. They're perfectly happy being connected to the royal family and the monarchy. Will there be internal divisions within the royal household? How will the royal household respond? Whoop. Eight of Swords. This is what it is. We are going to stick with it. The Moon, Four of Cups, Two of Swords, Five of Cups, Five of Wands. I think we know what that is. The chaos is chaosing. But really the effort is going to be to get that chaos back under control. I think at the time when King Charles does decide to go under, and I don't mean to Australia, I think when that time comes, there will be a ramping up of this second court that's here in America. I think we'll see more actions on their part, more nonsense. I think we'll see them trying to perform more as royal ambassadors to God knows who, trying to develop a retinue. Am I saying that right? Retinue. Trying to develop one of those on American soil. And I think that will be dissuaded. Let's put it that way. I think it's going to be dissuaded from the emerging monarchs, both of them. I do think that we're going to get a very harmonized vocalization from William and Catherine. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see them and how they reign. So let's go over to Prince William and his ascension and role as a king. So, and before we do that, I do want to remind you that you can get your own magical reading with me at the link in the description of this video. So hop on over there. And if you are in one of those Commonwealth countries that's on the other side of the world and you have some trouble booking a time with me, you can either email me at fortunecookiestarot@gmail.com, or you can get a WhatsApp or text message reading from me. I have a price point and a method for everyone. So what kind of king will William be according to the cards? 2 of Cups, fairly balanced. He is going to be fairly balanced with his sweet bride, and also with now I know there's more than 2 parties in England, but he's going to be fairly balanced and spread across the different political factions in the country. The Emperor, he is more effectively going to stay out of piecemeal politicking. We did see King Charles, as he was waiting to ascend to the crown, talking a lot more about sustainable measures, environmental measures. I think William is going to be much more careful about not getting into those gray, dingy, smoggy areas. I think he's really going to just be the dude that's heading up the modern royal family. And I've said this before, I do think that he is going to take this family more in a direction of a business that is run by a family rather than a government run by a family. And I know, like, don't come for me in the comments, guys. I know everybody says, no, Americans don't understand how the monarch rules. The monarch's not ruling over the country, blah, 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 blah. It's been said more and more since Harry was like, my father just needs to step in. No, he needs to step out. So it's been said more and more. I understand that the monarch in the United Kingdom has an effect on the government, but is not the effect of the modern government, of the traditional government. Under the surface, Knight of Swords. He is going to be streamlining things. If we thought Charles was streamlining things, oh boy, here we go. William is going to be streamlining a great deal of the royal family. Again, I think we see a business model here rather than a royal family. It is a business model run by a family. I do think it's not going to be just immediate family. Lady Louise is going to play a big part in the royal family. I know they're giving her a choice, but she is a great face for the royal family. Also, we are going to be seeing the children of the king and queen, the incoming king and queen. I think we're going to be seeing very interesting unions for them. There is a young woman that is possibly American that will make up for all of the poor American choices made prior. I don't know if that is a girlfriend or if they'll let that go all the way through. They will be a bit more strategic in the marriages for their children. Notwithstanding, love matches, but they'll be a bit more strategic. King of Swords here. We are going to see all of the toughness in William in the first few days, because what he's going to do is draw some lines in the sand and never look back. So the things that he says in the first 6 months, 8 months of his reign, he is going to stand by them. Conscious section, we have the Empress. So this is going to be building a better relationship between the Commonwealth, the government, the people, and the royal family. We're going to see him cultivating. Such a great Empress card with all that fruit up top. The Empress, of course, and that's why we have the bunnies down at the bottom. She's all about fertility, fruitfulness, making something really great, building something for the future. What do we have here for the future look? Knight of Coins, he is going to stress that he doesn't want the royal family to cost quite as much for the taxpayer. This is going to make him super beloved. The shrinking of the royal family, the shrinking of the castle structures, the shrinking of the homes that they have. Don't get me wrong. They're going to keep Windsor. Windsor, I think it's going to wind up being Windsor Castle. All the other castles are going to have some level of, entertainment and living in. But I think Windsor becomes the castle for the royal family. Buckingham Palace, I do think, becomes more of a museum and a place of pomp and circumstance. So will this kind of leadership be welcomed by the British people? Four of Coins, Knight of Wands, and the 10 of Cups. Yes, I think the paring down of the royal family is something that they are very keen to see when it's drawn out in practical terms. Do we still get to see the glitter? Yes. Do we still get to see the beautiful dresses and the family lined up on the balcony? Yes. But what we don't get to see is we don't get to see the excess, the waste. We don't watch them, eating foie gras all day long. Are there any hidden forces behind the scenes hindering the next ascension? The sun. We see them, they're out in the open. Ace of Coins, Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Coins, people that are looking to build their legacy. Do I need to say who it is? Do I need to say who it is? Drop it in the comments if you see it. Four of Cups, people that are dreaming and wandering and wondering and jealous and fighting and also have gone their own way. So don't have to spell it out. Greg, do you know who that is? Who could it be?
Aragorn of Arnor?
Who could it be now? Is it Aragorn?
Of Arnor?
We can't call him Aragorn.
Who? No, I'm not calling him Aragorn. Actually, if it is.
No.
Arthur, the Once a Future King?
No.
No?
So.
Wheel of Quest. That's a good idea. Of course it's a good quest.
So, part 3, guys. Part 3. Part 3. The Promise. Has King Charles asked Prince William to make a promise regarding Harry and Meghan for after he is gone? Has King Charles asked them? Chariot. He wants them to move beyond what? Ace of Coins, the world, 5 of Swords, bear the slings and arrows of your brother. There we go, guys. I think that he does say you can cut him off from his titles, from the luxury, but you can't leave him penniless. You cannot leave him penniless.
Cut him off from his big titties.
Does he have? Well, apparently Meghan told him to lose
big
weight.
Titles.
So. Big titles?
You're not familiar with the Sean Connery on Celebrity Jeopardy?
No.
On Saturday Night.
Let it snow?
Yeah, let it snow.
Okay. So I think that he will be divested of work, but only because of his own doing. This business of not being able to make money, not our problem. This business of not walking away from your titles and leaving that and just being a normal person like you wanted to be, cosplaying as a poor person. The constant fighting, I think he does say, look, you're never, ever, ever going to work for us again. We can't trust you. Here's an investment. Do what you will. Manage it as you will. invest this, we are done. I think that is what King Charles has made William promise. Don't leave him penniless. Give him what he needs, only what you need to survive.
Your industrial strength hair dryer?
Yes, industrial strength hair dryer. And I can't live without it. So, what is the true nature of this promise? Is it for peace, silence, retribution, exclusion? Like, what is the purpose of this? Why has King Charles foisted this promise on to Sir William? Wheel of Fortune. His brother stepped in it and now, unfortunately, is dealing with it. The Five of Swords. He is always going to fight. You know he's always going to fight. And the Nine of Swords. His life will be a misery. Don't make him be poor and miserable with that terrible, terrible woman. Was this a heartfelt fatherly plea? Or is it a request to protect the crown? Fatherly plea. And I do think it is an attempt to protect the crown, but I think it is more so a fatherly plea that his son not be broke for the rest of his life and eke out his days in a crappy apartment in Van Nuys or Culver City, as the Sidley twins say. Culver City. How does William feel about this? Will he honor this promise? Will honor this promise? It depends. There's some conditions. He's got some conditions. What are the conditions? He doesn't want Meghan to have any money. He thinks that if they are starved out, that Meghan will cross the line and say some things that will reveal her true self. That's what he really thinks. How does he really feel about his brother behind the scenes? How does he really feel about his brother? Seven of Coins, Judgment. When he looks back on this, he will regret it. Will he ever forgive him? At this point, no. At this point, no. Over my dead body was the quote we heard through well-placed source. How does he truly feel about Meghan behind the scenes? Five of Wands. She's the cause of the drama. Ace of Cups. She's the one who ruined the relationships. And Four of Wands, all in the spirit of setting up her own quasi-court. So, oof, what a mess. What a mess. Will Prince Harry return to the UK for any official event for William? We've already heard William said he does not want him at his coronation. Will he return for any official event? Not invited. Will he return? Justice. Yes, he will go there to show off. Knight of Wands. And look very sad, probably from Soho House someplace. So, yes, he will make a big show of it. My brother has given up on me. I can't not be who I am. I'm always a prince. So there's your royals and scandals, guys. Remember, with free will, any of these things can change. So we may see some changes in the future. We may have to revisit this reading. But that is what the tarot says right now. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have more questions for me. Drop them down below. I do look at most of the comments. I try and get to all of them, but drop some other royals and scandals that you'd want to see down below. I know there's the whole Lord Lucan that HG Tudor and I talked about, and I have to reconnect with him and find out if he wants to do his reading and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that I've been very busy now that I'm no longer coughing quite as much as I used to for the whole of 2025. But I will have more things coming up in the future for royals and scandals. Let me know down below what you'd like to see. It doesn't have to be British. It can be anything. Can be the Danish royal family, can be the Japanese royal family, whatever you'd like. So I will see you guys in the future.